Okay, here we are on part two of this 70 watt amplifier I'm building for HF. This is the Electron, man. I'm changing the camera angle here. I noticed on my part one it's kind of grainy a little bit. I'm hoping trying to get a little camera a little closer. It's kind of restricting my area to work, but hopefully this will give you a little bit better of a view. Basically, we're starting with part two. I've got all my relay, my transformers, my choke have all been installed, assembled, and installed. So our next thing is to go ahead and start doing this wire winding. Hopefully my soldering iron's heated up. Basically, this one's going to get 3 turns. This is going to get 2 turns of this same type wire. So I just stripped a little bit of the end off. We're going to send it through there, and then it is going to solder to that pad right there. Let's see how close my soldering iron is, ready to start doing some work. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm there. Get these two out of the way here. Hopefully this you're getting a good picture of that. Kind of changed my angle, so I'm not sure you're getting in the view real good. Hopefully you are. Anyway, I'm gonna tin this pad a little bit. Yeah, so you can see it solder iron. It's just not quite warm enough. So I better warm up a little bit more here. You can tell real quick when your soldering iron isn't warm enough, it gets splotchy like that. It won't take but a second to get heated up here. Yeah, see how nice and pretty that made it now? I'm going to see if I can tin this wire. This is a really small, thin wire. Get a good tinning on it. So it'll be easy to stick down. And then let's see how we do here. Let me something to push this down with and hold it down. That should do it. Okay. Let it cool for a second. And we should be good and soldered down, which we are. Okay, now then we're going to do 3 windings through here. We've already got 1 through that side. This will be 1 through this side. And pull that nice and tight. This is so much easier to work with than that choke was. Oh, that wire was hard to work with. This will be 2 on this side. Pull it tight. And we'll be getting ready to go to 2 on the other side. That's 2 on the other side. Now let's go for our 3rd wrap. You've been doing so good, don't start fighting me now. Okay, there's 3 on that side. And then we just do a 3rd one through this one. And there we go. Now all we need to do is cut it to length. And then we need to strip it back. Come on. Oh man. Okay, we got her stripped back, and we want to just flatten her down. I can't quite tin it the same way as I did the other one, but let me see if I can go ahead and get a little tinning on the wire here. Tinning on the pad. And then we just need to hold it down. Let it cool. Okay, and we now have one coil wire wired. Or one transformer, I should say, wired. Actually, let me get a little flat blade here. I want to make sure that's not shorting in any way, so we'll kind of lift them up a little bit there. It wasn't, but just to be on the safe side. Oops. Okay, so now then, if you can see, we have our 3 wraps, and we have that coil now wired. I've transformer. Said it again. Okay. Now then, this input transformer here is going to take 2 wraps. So basically, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to peel my wire back here a little bit. Stick it through. Let me go ahead and turn this around here so that's easier for you to see, hopefully. Hopefully you're getting a good view of this. Let me go ahead and see if I can tin that wire up. So we're good in 10. A little bit of that. It looks a little bit on the long side on the lead there, so I'm going to chip just a slight bit of that off on the insulated part, or the uninsulated part. There we go. And then we're going to take it. Same process. My little hold down screwdriver here. Okay. I had it. Dang it. I had it and it slipped. There you go, and then we're just going to go ahead and solder that wire down. Here we go. Let it cool for a second. Looks good. And this time we're going to do 2 wraps. So that's 1 through there. 1 through there. 2 through there. And 2 through there. Well, they gave me quite a bit of extra wire here. I'm surprised. But they did. Usually, giant stuff, you don't get a couple extra inches in. Let's go ahead and cut this off the length. Okay, let me strip it back. Okay, now as you can see, now let me tin this wire. Hopefully you can see that. Nice. Tin the pad a little bit, nice. And then we'll just take and again, set this down on the pad. Come on. I'm gonna work with me here. There we go. Lay on the pad nice. There we go. We now have the other transformer wired. That went pretty fast, and then I'm just lifting up on these just to make sure they're not grounding out in any way. They shouldn't be, but to be on the safe side. Okay, now then, check that out. We now have both of our transformers wired. So now we're down to mounting these 2 little jumpers. See, one of the jumpers goes to the push to talk, which I'm not sure exactly why it has a jumper for the push to talk, but it does. And let's see if we can tin those legs up a little bit. This is going to be tricky because this is plastic. Let me turn my iron down just slightly too. But we got these two little pads here. Hopefully you can see that. Right here and here. So we tin those up. Clean my tip again. Always use a clean tip. And then we'll see if we can. So we did a pretty good job on that as far as tinning those. Now then, let's see if I can get my needle nose in here. Of course, that capacitor is going to be sitting right there in the way. Whoa! Trying to run away from me. Let's see if we can do this. Don't think that's going to work. I'm going to have to do this by fingers. Hopefully. Okay, that looks good. Hopefully you get a good view of that. Here's that jumper in. That was more of a pain than I was expecting, but yeah, that looks great down there. There's no bridging. We want to make definitely sure those two don't touch her. Kind of defeats the purpose of what that jumper's supposed to do, which go ahead and put the little jumper in there so just don't lose it. And then we have the other jumper, which, according to the instructions, it acted like it would be jumper 1 over here, but then on the pictures I've looked at, it's actually just pins there and not a jumper. That's for your pass filters, which for this build I'm not going to mess with any, but it is cool that it gives you the option to actually have some pass filters so you don't have so much bleed over like an amateur radio. But the other option is you could just bridge it right here, and that will keep it. What we'll do is we'll use a little bit of this spare wire we have here for the bridge, since I don't want to use that jumper there. For one thing, the jumper is not spaced right for those two pins. I'd have to bend the thing, and I'd rather use that as my fan connection because I happen to have a fan that has that size plug if I wanted to decide to use a fan. So anyway, hopefully I'm not gotten this out of camera view. And that's all been a waste of time. Let me go ahead and tin this edge of it up. And then we'll drop a little solder on this jumper 1. And then we'll clean my tip again. Okay, that side's done. Now what I'm going to do is make this a little loop here. Cut it off about right there. Strip this wire back. Go ahead and tin it. And now let's work this loop into. Nice thing about this is doing it this way. If I wanted to and wanted to add a filter later, I could just cut the wire. Let's stick to the soldering iron. There we go. That like a little cleaning will do. Okay, so now I have my little jumper 1 in there. Okay. Now then, my next item will be mounting. Let's go ahead and mount this fan connector here. Right there. Hopefully you'll get that. Put these moved on the side. I'm down to 4 insulators and 4 pads. Which I don't know why they gave 4 insulators. You only need 1 insulator, 1 pad per transistor. And I've got my 2 SMLA connections and my 2 transistors left here. Let me go ahead and get this fan piece soldered on here. Fan plug. Tin those up lightly. I'm going to tin this up a lot lighter than I did last time on that other set of pads because it sure didn't take much. Much lighter that time. And let's turn around here. See if we can get this plug on here. Looks like we did good first time. Yes, we did. Beautiful. Well, a little bit of solder. Trying to work over there. Whoa. Oops. There we go. That looks great. Not going to overdo it. Okay, so now then, we're down to, let's go ahead and, in this part 2, let's go ahead and get everything soldered up with the MOSFETs is what I plan on. With that and the 2 resistors, because looking at these, the way they set, these 2 resistors are going to set on that pad and that pad and that pad and that pad. I'm thinking these will probably be the last 2 pieces I put in after I have the MOSFETs mounted to my heat sink and soldered in, because I think it would be hard to get to those pads to solder the 2 MOSFETs after I put these 2 resistors in. So let's go ahead and put these guys on, which these are pretty simple looking. You just slide it on like that. I don't know if I need to tin that or not. Let's try it without tinning it first. Definitely want it good and centered. I'm afraid if I tin that, it's going to be hard for me to get that to slide on there. So let's just go for it this way first. See what we get. Yeah, see if we can get the center one in there. And what I was afraid of. Come on. Yeah, we bridged over what we didn't want to do. Yeah, I wonder if I can wick that out. These are a bit of a pain. Not a whole lot of room to work with. Yeah. Well, that ain't playing nice. How hard is that damn thing? Yeah, it's got to come off. Yeah, that first attempt didn't work good. Wow. Ooh, that's hot. Let's such a trick to 10. Well, at least I got the pad 10 now. Let me see if I can put this one that's not hot on there now. So this is what I was afraid of. It's going to make it really tight fit, but that might be a good thing. Okay. I got it centered nicely on them. It's so tight now I probably wouldn't even have to solder it, just the tension, but let me clean my tip here. Make sure I'm transferring heat good. And let's try this again. Okay, I believe I've got that. I think that worked better. That looks good. Okay, hopefully you can see that. That's one SMLA connector connected. I guess it's got a couple on the back side you can solder the ground on, double ground it, which is fine. We'll go for that. Okay, that sucker's not going anywhere. Since that worked so well, then now we'll 10 the other 2 or 3 and repeat. Hopefully you're catching all this in the camera. Sorry, I got my scanner going, or my amateur radio, and somebody's yakking on the repeater there. Don't you guys know I'm doing a video right now? Let me go ahead and turn that down. Okay. Let's see if we get the other SMA connector on there. Yeah, just like the last one. Well, I definitely got a little system down for that now. Tin them a little bit, it makes it really snug. Then just kind of flow them after that. So we'll just you can see that or not, I'm seeing it flow. Clean that tip again. Make sure I'm getting a good connection here. Yeah, definitely got her to flow. Center one's a little bit more of a challenge. There she goes. We're getting a good view of that. Okay. That SMA connector's on. We did a little grounding on the back. That's just probably more for strength than anything, but it doesn't hurt to do it. There we go. Clean off the tip. All right, guys, check it out. This kit's getting right along now. So now I've got pretty much a populated board. I got my input-output transformers on here, my relay on here. Got my jumper for filters if I want to build some bandpass filters. For right now, we're just going to go straight through on the amp. Got my jumper on, got my fan plug on, choke. Guys, we're getting really close on this. Okay, so I got left to do is find my heat sink, mount these two MOSFETs here and here using the insulators and the thermal. Well, that's actually an insulator too, but I don't know if I should put thermal paster on that. I think I probably should. And then my two resistors. That's probably enough for part 2. Part 3 will be the completion, basically, I do believe, and then maybe part 4 for testing. But we're getting close, and we've got our coils wound, our transformers wound. I mean, hopefully you can get a good look at this. Here's our product so far. Anyway, hopefully you like this series. If you do, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. This is the Electron Man.